Let's assume you're a captain of industry or finance and you're a bit patriotic about your motors. How do you get from your city home to your Cotswolds pad? Well, until now, you've had the choice of doing it in the back of a Rolls or a Jaguar, or in the front perhaps of an Aston Martin. But now, Aston Martin thinks, as well as that, you could go in the back of one of its cars. Oh. Well, let's hope you're not too portly a city businessman, because it's quite snug, but there is not a massive amount of room in the back of this, which is the new £140,000 Aston Martin Rapide hatchback. It's beautifully appointed, I'll give it that. It's very tastefully done. I've got optional rear seat screens. It's quite a pleasant place to be, but if you're looking for S-Class or Bentley levels of space, look again. I mean, it's quite pleasant back here, but I can't help thinking the seats of choice are probably still the front ones. Now, for any owner who already does have a newish Aston, they'll find it very, very familiar in the front. This dashboard is all sort of DB9 based, but from here backwards, it's all new. There's no manual option, so this is very clean down here with an electric handbrake for the first time. And then a transmission tunnel goes all the way through, separating the rear passengers at the back. The general architecture is familiar too. It's effectively a stretched DB9. Aston won't really thank me for saying it, but that's what it is. Up front is the DB9 6-litre V12 engine in its torquiest form, so that's 470 horsepower and about 440 pounds-foot of torque. Makes sense to have the torquiest one because it's auto only, and this is, after all, a luxury saloon rather than an out-and-out sports car. Now, the extra room in the wheelbase has all gone into liberating room in the back seats. Now, I know I've been a bit mean about it and said that, frankly, the front seats are the place to be, but the back is okay. If you've got young kids, or if you're going to go on a hop to an airport or a restaurant, you know, it's absolutely fine. I wouldn't want to take 4 adults to the south of France, but for Aston's purposes, for their intentions, I think actually it's acceptable. Now, the boot's okay as well. If you look at its raw volume, it's not as big as you'd find in an A8 or an S-Class or something like that. But because it's a hatch, and because the rear seats just fold at the drop of a button, it's surprisingly useful actually. I think you could get a couple of sets of golf clubs lengthways, you could get skis through or something like that. For a 2-up Grand Tourer, it's fine. Don't expect to carry 4 people and all their luggage. Crucially though, what is it like to drive? Well, the good news is the Aston Sports DNA has largely been retained. It rides a bit better than a DB9, but that big-hearted, throaty V12 has still got that nice, normally aspirated thing. It just revs out really cleanly. This gearbox makes really sweet shifts as well. But what's particularly nice about it is that, in with all that, it seems to have an extra sense of refinement and an extra sense of maturity. The ride is there, but also the steering is freer from kickback than it is in other Aston models, DB9 particularly. It's still very feelsome, very oily and slick, but there's just none of the knock you get over bumps. What it feels to me like is the difference between the V12 Vantage and the V8 Vantage is that the V12 is not only faster, it's also more mature and refined. And Aston have kind of done the same again with this. The quality has taken another notch up, and it's not just in cabin materials, it feels throughout the whole dynamic experience. So, what have we learnt? Well, this isn't as accommodating as a 7 Series or an S-Class. And you know what? It doesn't matter. Yes, the Rapide is a luxury saloon, but it is also an Aston Martin. And it goes, handles, steers, stops, sounds like one should. I think it's absolutely terrific.